Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto, and I am with the Central Virginia Business Coalition. And today I am going to be joined in the studio with Brandy DeWeese with Generation Solutions, also known as The Key. And we're going to talk to them a little bit about what they do and the rebranding and all of that great stuff. And of course, I'm also always with my fabulous producer. Is that what you are?
Yeah,
producer,
I like that. Yeah,
owner, operator, extraordinaire, Woody.
Keep going.
I can keep
like
going.
where it's going.
I mean, now that I paid my bill, I can talk.
Call me whatever you want to.
I was going to come in today and the door was going to be locked. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, we're here and we are going to, one of the other things I wanted to talk about today, we're going to talk about some summer. Because if you're here in Virginia, if you're listening to me and you're in Virginia, or if you're in the Central Virginia area, it is hot outside, right? Like
it is toasty.
It is a little bit warm. I'm not going to lie. I am not a fan of the heat. So I love summer. Let me listen. So what I really love, if you want me to be honest, what I really love is that spring into summertime where it's 70s and, when I lay out. So I'm one of those people that I want to lay out and get some sun.
But I want to get hot.
Yes. I'm sweating within 5 minutes. And then I'm like, oh my God, I got to go back inside. Or am
I tan yet?
And my problem is, let's talk about this. Poor people. If you're one of those people that are like me, I do not tan well. So I'm one of those weird people. I tan from the waist up, my arms, my shoulders, my face. I get a nice, lovely brown. People are always like, oh, look at you. You've been out in the sun. I could lay out though from my waist down. I could lay out all day long and it's going to be a lobster.
Yep.
I'm going to be red. And it's not one of those reds where it's oh, it'll settle in and be tan. No, it is not.
Right back to being white.
It's going right back to being white. And I'm going to be all peeling. And it's a hot mess. I can't, I'm just not good at it, apparently. I guess you cannot be good at tanning. That's me. But I love being out. I love swimming. I love going to the pool. I love, going up to Smith Mountain Lake. That's always fun. I'll take my girl up to the state park, but not a fan of the heat per se, but it's gorgeous. And so last week was a rainy, hot mess. I mean, if you're in our area, it was flooding. And again, thoughts out to Good, our Good area that was, hit by the tornado on Friday. The funny part about it was nothing funny about that, but for me, I was at the house and when I get up, I don't turn on the television. I just I have a mode that I kind of kick into, and it's
quiet
just,
time.
I do the same thing. Yeah. And it's I get up, I make my coffee. I get, my husband, he has to be out. He has to be at work by 7. So, we're rolling. This is the first week we didn't have school. So that was nice, but I just don't turn on the TV because it just becomes for my kid, she'll sit there and watch TV and then she doesn't get ready. So, but, we had Coffee Talk, which is our monthly networking event, this past Friday. We were supposed to have it at the Bauer Center, and that starts at 8 a.m. And so I'm getting ready, and Autumn calls me, and she says, hey, I'm not going to be at Coffee Talk on time. And so my first reaction is and why not? Because, you're staff and you need to be there on time. And she's like, because there's a tornado warning for my area. I'm in my basement. And I was, I knew there was thunderstorms, but I didn't realize it to the extent. So then I turn on my TV and it's George Flickinger is just going at it. Him and Will Stafford are just, talk. And it's red stuff popping up. And I'm oh, this is not good. So then my 10-year-old's crying.
I was on the way to the Coffee Talk.
Yeah.
I was pulling out the driveway, heading towards 460 when I got a call from saying, hey, you need to turn around. It's getting ready to cross 460.
Yes.
And I'm what are you talking about? No way. And I went home and same thing, turned on the TV. I'm whoa. And then I got sucked into the TV because they were just so technical and
I know.
It's crazy.
So I put out because 2 of my staff members come from Lynchburg. And then there's Autumn, who was in Manita down in her basement. And I'm not going to lie. she cracks me up because she has all these animals. So she was talking about how she was trying to get all of her animals in the basement.
Herding them.
She has chickens.
Oh,
She was trying to get the chickens in on top of like her dogs, and she was like, and then I'm running through the yard. She's like, I slip and I fall, and then she's like, I look at like she got most of her chickens in, but like 2 of them, and she just looked at them. She's like, well, hope you make it. I'll see you later, chickens. So that cracked me up. But I told my staff, I was like, don't worry about being late. I'm here in Bedford. I can make it. And by that point, they had said that it had passed the town, like the town was out of risk. So I was like, I can make it out there. And someone asked me, they're like, are you going to cancel? I kept getting messages like, are you canceling Coffee Talk? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I didn't cancel events for COVID. I sure enough ain't canceling it for a storm. Like, come on out. Yeah. And we still had about 25 people that were able to make it. But
that's good.
When I got to the Bauer Center, that's when people started coming in and saying that something had hit the Good area and that there were fire trucks and everything. And driving back through, of course, you couldn't get through to see, but you can kind of see through the trees. You could see where some of the buildings were just completely, wrecked. And that's one of my biggest fears. I'm not a fan of weather either. So I'm not a fan of a lot of things when it comes to like heat and weather and storms. And I'm always scared because I don't have a basement. So I'm like, where am I supposed to go? I guess I'll be laying in my tub. Hoping nothing falls on me. I don't know, grabbing a mattress and laying it on me. But again, like I know that there are probably a lot of needs that these families are going to have, especially those that lost everything. And so if you can find a way to support them, a huge shout out to, I will say, on my show 2 weeks ago, I had Gavin with the Timber Ridge Outdoor Supply.
Yep. And
he actually went out there for 2 or 3 days and set up a tent and fed a lot of the families. He was up there for hours feeding, cooking and grilling. And so big shout out to him. I love it when our members kind of jump on board. Another person I will say, Jennifer with our photography, and this is kind of off of, she was actually doing something for Texas, but like she did these little mini photography sessions, and I signed up for one. It was only $21 for a photography session for me and my husband and my daughter. Great pictures, actually, but she donated 100% of the proceeds to Texas to that GoFundMe. So I love it when I see our businesses giving back. And again, I say this quite a bit. These are small businesses, folks. These are small businesses that did not have to take the time. They did not have to take their funds. They did not have to, to do this. And that's why we talk about how much you need to support local, because small local businesses give back more than large like corporations. I didn't see Walmart out there giving hot dogs and hamburgers. Or maybe they donated. I don't know. So, somebody might come smack my hand later, but I'm just saying, it's small business. And that's why you want to support them, because they have such a big heart and they give back. And so huge thank you. And if there's members of mine out there that did things that I didn't know about, or I'm not giving that shout out, just know that, you're appreciated. And, so we're going to talk about in just a little bit, just some summer ideas. Like, let's say, you have a young entrepreneur that's looking for ways to make money this summer, or let's just say you yourself need some extra money this summer. We're going to just cut time to talk about different things and give some shout outs to our businesses that are really amped up over the summer. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we're going to start by talking with Brandy. And so welcome.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to have you here, because I know that y'all have had some changes, and Generation Solutions has been kind of a mainstay in our area for quite a while. And a lot of people know them as Generation Solutions, but y'all are going to be known as The Key soon moving forward. So you're now Generation Solutions and The Key, sort of like, or
yes. So right now we are co-branding from now until about the end of the year. And then you will see the name Generation Solutions fade away, unfortunately, because we've been in the area since 1998. But we were bought by a larger company. It's actually an international company. It's been an adjustment for sure for folks
Mm-hmm.
like me. I've been with GS for 6 years, so I know, the family. We're still very family oriented, very driven. We just want everyone to know that we are the same people. We have the same mission that will never change, no matter what they change our name to. We just want people to know that we are still who we have always been, and we will continue to just grow and improve.
And that's one of the things that with Generation Solutions, and I love that you said that, because it's important to know that even though you have been kind of bought out or by a larger corporation, it is still local. There's still those same people that are in the office and being part of the new name, like once y'all kind of turn over to that. So it's not like it's just some corporation coming in taking over. It's that same
Exactly. Our
people.
day to day has not changed, thankfully. We just have more resources for our caregivers. We have better opportunities for them. Obviously, with a bigger company, you have better benefits. So it's actually been great for our caregivers. I feel like has had a lot of pros from the name change, just because they have better resources. We have more training opportunities available for them that we wouldn't have just because we didn't have the resources. So bigger doesn't always mean bad. It's just more resources for us so we can better serve our clients.
I agree. I think I think a lot of people they hear about takeover and they're like, oh no, everything's gonna change.
And that's what I thought personally. And I was really nervous,
Yeah.
to be honest, but I just stuck it out and just, stay positive, and it's been great.
Now, Autumn actually used to work for Generation
Yep.
Solutions for quite a while, and
Yeah.
she enjoyed her time, there and working with the people that she worked with. And I know, like, her main reason is she didn't leave because she didn't want to be there. It was more or less she started taking care of my mother, and it just became like something different. But I think that's another thing, that is your staff has been there very long term. I mean, how long was Tulane there before he retired?
So he started the company in 1998.
Okay, so he actually started the company.
Yes,
Well, good
that's
for him.
Yeah, so Tulane has put in a lot of work. I'm blessed that he hired me and took a chance on me and let me grow within the company. And I'm just excited that the key has kept all of the key players,
Mhm.
because they know we have it down pat. We do a great job, and that's why they choose to buy us. There's a lot of companies out there that they could have chose in the area, but they chose us because they realized that we have created such a name in the community, and we've done such a great job with caring for our folks.
So let's talk a little bit about Generation Solutions and the key. What for anyone who is listening that maybe has not heard of you and what you do, what type of services do you offer to the community?
So we offer personal home care services to anyone above the age of 18. I know we've always talked about specializing in senior care, but that's not always the case. Our youngest client right now is about 28 years old, I believe, and he has mental disabilities that prevents him from being able to care for himself properly. So we take care of anyone above the age of 18 that needs that personal one-on-one care. So personal care can include bathing, dressing, feeding, transportation. Maybe you need someone to take your loved one to a doctor's appointment or grocery shopping, and they're not able to drive anymore. Our caregivers can drive them either in their vehicle or the caregiver's vehicle, whichever they prefer. And we also have companion care. So the companions, and just important to note that the personal care is all the way to end of life. So we work hand in hand with all the trusted hospice agencies. So a lot of times we're in the home until the very end. And then we have our companion care, and that's for folks that don't need the personal care yet, but they want someone to spend some time with them. They
Mhm.
want someone to play games with them, take them to activities, cook with them, cook for them, the light housekeeping, the transportation, those needs that you don't think about until you're at a point where you're not comfortable doing them on your own anymore. And we go wherever someone calls home. So right now we are in the area facilities. We have a lot of clients that are in these long-term care facilities, even assistant living facilities. I know a lot of times folks move into these assistant livings
Mhm.
and they think, oh, everything's been taken care of. Nothing else we have to do. But then they realize that they really would like that one-on-one care. They would like to go out of the facility and see their family. Maybe they want to go back to their home. We have some folks that go back home one day a week just to check on things and just make them keep that independence. So we do have a lot of clients in facilities. And then we take care of folks anywhere from Amherst County, Bedford County, Campbell County. And then we also have an office in Roanoke. So we pretty much go all areas.
So let me talk about companion care, because that's something I really didn't think about. Like, I think about the in-home care, like if it's for someone who needs it, but I had never really thought about just having companion care. And that makes a lot of sense to me, because you see where, and honestly, I go back to just my grandmother. When my grandfather passed away, my grandmother to me was always a very strong woman. And for me, it was really surprising when my grandfather passed away, how quickly she kind of went downhill, because
Absolutely.
she no longer had someone to take care of. She was just kind of by herself. And I feel like that's part of it. You just having a companion there could actually, I think, keep people living longer, if that's hard. I mean, because you hear of so many people that just, they say they die from grief or just not having someone, but I can attest to the fact that she did. It was extremely quick. She was fine.
Yep.
He passed away, and then it was like all of a sudden she just quit wanting to take care of herself.
Yeah,
and
we see that a lot.
it was, she was sad. I mean, she was so depressed being there without him, because they've been together forever. And we tried ourselves to go in. We actually tried to put together a calendar, because I'm lucky that I have a lot of family, and we had the ability to someone went in and helped, get together her breakfast, and someone for lunch and someone for dinner. But I hate to say this, but at times then it becomes a burden on the family, for they're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I have something to do today, but I got to run over here and, make sure
it becomes a job instead of taking care of your loved one.
And you feel bad going in. Like, I would go in to fix her, let's say for lunch, I'd go in and fix her lunch. Well, I only had a little bit of time.
You're rushing.
I was rushing, and it'd be like, hey, grandma, and you try and spend some time with her. But then I think she feels like, oh, well, you're only here because you have to be. It's not because you want to be. And I can really see where having that companion care, somebody coming in playing games with them, or like my grandmother loved to work puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, working puzzles, or, doing those sorts of things could really help prolong life expectancy in a way for some of them.
Yeah, and our aides also work with our home health agencies to do exercises. So home health is in the home. A lot of people don't realize, but home health is in the home for a set amount of time. Typically, average, I think, is 8 weeks. But after that 8 weeks, they're done. And if there's not someone there to motivate that person to continue their exercises, they're going to go back. When we get older, it's really hard to maintain that strength that they've built up with home health or rehab or whichever service, if they had both even. So just having that companion there just to motivate them, like, hey, are you still able to walk? Let's get up. Let's go on outside and go on a walk, and just being that safety net for them. And then it gives families such a sense of relief, like, hey, someone's taking care of mom. So when I do have time to visit, I get to actually visit. I don't have to worry about fixing her something to eat. I don't have to worry about cleaning the house or taking her to a doctor's appointment. That's already been done. So I can spend that quality time with her, and she feels better because she knows, like, oh, mom, Heather's just here to visit. She's not here to take care of me.
Yes.
She already took care of me in a different way.
I remember the first time, because my grandmother was diabetic too, and she had to take a shot every day. And I remember the first time I had to give her the shot. So first of all, I'm nervous because I don't even know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know nothing about this stuff. And so she's like, well, you just have to just stick me in my stomach. It probably took me 10 minutes because I was so scared to stick my grandmother with a needle. I was like, girl, why can I do this? She was like, it's okay. It's okay. But, I think just even things like that, having someone who's knowledgeable, because, I don't even pretend to be. I'm gonna tell you right now, nurses, they are amazing to me.
They
the
really
things
are.
that they do on a daily basis, things that there's no way I could do those sort of things. And I look at Autumn, and she can lift my mom up off the floor, just like it's nothing. And I'm sitting here I'm trying to lift her up by one shoulder, and I'm like, I'm not strong enough for this. Can't do this. So it's, just watching all the things that they can do. A huge shout out to our nurses, and especially within the last 3 years, because it's been nuts.
Yes. They are truly amazing.
How has that worked for you guys with COVID? Like, how did that work with having your nurses going in home?
Honestly, we just took all the precautions we could, but we actually saw people increase in wanting the companion care because it wasn't safe. A lot of families that live out of state, they weren't able to travel to come
Right.
and see
I can
mom
see
and
that.
dad. So they asked us to step in, and we were able to get really creative with communicating with families, FaceTiming them and the companions. Some of them are just truly amazing. I went to visit one, and she goes, "Oh, I bought an iPad because I wanted her to FaceTime with her family, so I bring it over for each one of my shifts." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, she didn't have to do that. We would have been happy to provide her something, but just out of the goodness of her heart, she just did it, just because she wanted her to communicate with her family, and that's the only, she just didn't think to ask. She just did it. So that just shows that our caregivers really do care. It's a tough job, but also it's one of the most rewarding. But through COVID, we were really blessed with the facilities. They allowed our caregivers to still come in because they knew we were doing all the precautions, before each shift. And they still have to do this before each shift. They have to answer the COVID screening. They have to wear a mask, just taking all the precautions. And we were very blessed to get through COVID without, anyone feeling at risk for being sick. But just the facilities were really good to us with allowing our caregivers, because they weren't allowing just anyone in the facilities. I remember I used to go up to Runkin Pratt and walk a lady's dog because she had a dog walker, but the dog walker was no longer able to be in the facility because they couldn't trust that he or she was through an agency, and they couldn't trust that, all the proper steps were being taken. So when I left the office, I would go and walk the dog. It's just part of being part of a small team. You just kind of do what you have to do to make sure the client's taken care of at the end of the day. And sometimes taking care of the client just means you're taking care of their pet.
Yeah.
Because that's their baby. So I was happy to go and walk her dog. It's just something we all do. We've all done little things. My manager shovels snow for our seniors just to get the caregivers in and out of the home when it snows. I mean, we all pitch in and do little things that just really add up, that make us, I think it really sets us apart.
That's amazing to hear. Like, you're right. It does. It sets you apart. And for anyone who's listening and they're sitting there going, well, I need some help. That's definitely something they're going to think about.
Yeah.
Now, are your caregivers, are they CNAs, RNs? Like, how does that work?
All care is oversaw by a registered nurse. So we have 2 registered nurses at this time. Actually, we have 3. Excuse me. We have 3. One is part-time, but we have 2 full-time registered nurses. They oversee and create all the care plans. Our home health aides by the state of Virginia have to be certified, either certified by the state or a PCA class. So that's just personal care. It just stands for personal care aide. They all receive the same training, and then we do additional training.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask. Do you have those classes that people that are interested in becoming, personal care aides or CNAs, do y'all have any like training on site like that y'all do, or do you send them to where they can get that licensure?
We have done both in the past. Back in the day, we used to have our own CNA program, but we no longer have that now. But what we do is we can hire someone if someone's interested in becoming a PCA. What we do is we hire them and let them work as a companion. We want to make sure that they're a good fit for us, and then 2, we want to make sure this is exactly what they want to do. And if they show that they're really liking it, they're committed to us, we will invest in them and either do a PCA class in-house, or we will pay for them to go to a PCA class outside of our organization, just whichever one works better for their schedule. Some of them have to do evening classes because they have to work during the day. So we're really flexible with them. And it's great to note that we have around the clock care. So our caregivers work 2-hour shifts all the way up to 12-hour shifts and everything in between, whichever one works best with their schedule. So if a companion comes to us and says, hey, I would love to become a PCA, but I can't afford to take the classes and I can't afford to be out of work, we will work with them to make sure that they get both. So they're getting a paycheck and they're getting a certification.
Okay, that's good to know. So, are y'all currently hiring right now?
Always. We are always looking for
I figured.
loving hearts. Yes, yes. It's definitely a really rewarding job. I know Sheets and Walmart is paying all this money now with all these crazy bonuses and stuff, which is great. I understand nothing wrong with that. I understand. I love Sheets, I love Walmart. But it's just, as a formal caregiver myself, I just know what it's like at the end of the day of getting off work and feeling fulfilled.
Mhm.
Like you feel joy, like you help someone, and we match you. That's what sets us apart too, I think, from other agencies. We really match you with the client that we feel will be a good fit for you. And we have caregivers and clients that have been together for like 5 years
Mhm.
plus. I mean, because it's a good match and they just grow with the family and then they become really part of the family.
Right.
And so we try to take a lot of time just to match the caregiver up with the client to make sure it's a good fit for longevity. And we have some caregivers that are just here for maybe the summer and they don't mind. They're like, hey, just send me, wherever, and I'll do fill-ins, things like that, which is great for backup options. But our goal is to match caregivers and clients up so they have that long-term relationship built.
Now, one thing I don't know if we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the different services you offer, you also help to work with people that are being released from hospital or from nursing homes to go back home.
Yes.
Y'all do help with that as well. So if anyone who's, listening and, maybe they're have a loved one in the hospital that needs, was it kind of like a step down to back to their home? Y'all help with that as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I always encourage folks to talk to those discharge planners at the hospital, at any of the rehab facilities. Let them know, hey, I'm thinking that I may need some help at home. Let them know that you want to go with Generation Solutions. A lot of them have my number directly. They will call me. I'll be happy to come in and talk with them while they're at the hospital, while they're at the facility. So that way we can get a plan in place to get them home safe.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's not safe for them to come home. And that's why it's best to figure out a plan before the discharge date.
Right.
Don't wait until I see this a lot. People wait and say, "Oh, well, I'll just figure out once I get home." And once I get home, things will be different. Things will be different. I'll be stronger because I'll be in my own environment. They get home and then, oh no, they have a fall. They wind back up in the hospital.
Mhm.
And then the whole process starts again. We don't want that. So we always encourage people have a plan in place, even if you don't need us. Even just having the information in front of you just in case you do need us, it's no commitment, it's no contracts. Just having that information and a plan in place really will help. I always encourage people in the hospital and rehab facilities, get all the information you can. Last week, I helped someone move into assisted living facility because going home was not the safest option for her. But I was able to connect her with other assisted living facilities. It was important that she brought her cat with her. So we had to find an assisted living facility. She wanted month to month and she wanted to be able to bring her cat. And I have connected with all these assistant livings. I have a good working relationship with all of them. I was able to make that connection, even though doesn't need home care and she doesn't really need us once she moves to assistant living. It's just, I like to be able to help them make the best choice possible just for the safety.
And I think it's also important to mention, like you were talking about the very beginning of our speaking, that they don't have to be elderly. So
That's
like
right.
it can be where, for instance, my mother has multiple sclerosis, and if you a couple of years ago she fell and she broke her leg in like three places,
Yeah.
and so it can be used even for someone that just needs it short term.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot. We get a lot of calls sometimes. Hey, I'm having upcoming knee surgery, and I think I might need a caregiver after I'm finished. So I want to go ahead and get the paperwork done. Great, no problem. Let's get that set up. So that way, if you need us, there's a plan in place instead of, I'm home from the hospital. I can't even go to the restroom and my family doesn't feel comfortable taking care of me, or I have little ones running around.
Mhm.
I mean, you're never too old to need someone. That's for sure. Or never too young.
I'll just take somebody to come clean my house.
I know. I would love a companion.
So let me ask, do you ever get people that are concerned about just having people in their home, like, not knowing them, or how does that how do y'all help alleviate those kind of fears, or, that kind of boundary that people are worried about?
Yeah, I mean, all of our caregivers they have to go through a background and drug screen and reference check. And we're really careful about screening our caregivers. Anybody can be a caregiver, but we only are looking for caregivers that have a heart to do this job.
Mhm.
If you don't have a heart for it, then please don't, because it really is about that. So I just always tell families, most of the time they're going to be within sight of you, because we tell our caregivers, hey, you have to keep your client within, in your eyesight. So they're not going to be in the home, in other parts of the home unattended or anything like that. That shouldn't be something that comes up very
Right.
often. But, it's just like anything. Anything could happen. So we just try to be smart. If you have valuables laying around, just put them away. We can't guarantee anything, and I don't think any company can. But I think it's important that we match you up with a caregiver based on your personality and your care plan. So I think once you start visiting and meeting your caregiver for the first time, you kind of build that trust and you build that relationship. And I think that's why it's so important to match you up with someone that you feel comfortable with. So that way you can open up your home to them.
Now let's talk about like cost or payment. Do y'all accept, is it Medicaid, or do you have Medicare? How do y'all go through insurance?
So unfortunately, it's just private pay and long-term care insurance. We are able to take veterans benefits though. So we have a lot of clients that the VA pays for their benefits. So that's always great that we're able to help our veterans. But it is long-term care insurance or private pay.
Sorry, my phone rang. I forgot to turn my ringer down. Excuse this interruption from Eve 6 as it plays during our interview. Apologize for that.
It's okay.
It never fails. My husband always complains because I always turn my ringer off and then I don't ever remember to turn it back on. It's a constant like struggle for me, but it never fails. Like the one time I do forget and I don't turn it, it's going to ring during today, like during something that's important that I don't want it to ring during. So anyway, we'll just leave it at that. So, I think it's important that people hear that there are these options out there for them.
Absolutely.
Because again, coming from, just knowing in our past struggle with my family, just how, and while I say it's a burden, my family is not a burden. So I don't want people to think like I'm saying that, it was a burden to have my grandmother, but it does become, you don't want them to feel that they are becoming a burden.
Exactly.
Because then that's when you start to see them. I feel like it starts to put like a wedge between you and your loved one, and you don't want it to come down to that.
And they can feel your energy when you come in and you're stressed because you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be at work in 30 minutes and I only have 10 minutes to fix something to eat. And Lord, I hope she doesn't ask me to put the laundry in. They can feel that energy. So just having that's sometimes it's just a third party coming in. Hey, I'm a third party person. I don't know any of the family drama. I don't know anything.
Yes.
I'm just here to help.
Let me just say something about that too. You're right. Because when you have a third party coming in, I feel like too, they start to get angry at you because you don't do what they want. When I'm sitting here going, no, you can't have that. You cannot have that. She gets mad at me.
Yep.
Because I'm her grandchild. Yep. Yeah. And she's like, yes, I can. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Yeah.
But when it's a third party, they're more apt to listen to them without the argumentative piece to it. Yeah. And I think that's also really
I think having a third party is definitely important. And then we also have the care management service, which a lot of people don't know about, but that's honestly like having we call it a surrogate daughter or son come in and take mom, grandma, whoever to a doctor's appointment. They take them to these appointments and they advocate for that client. They say, hey, this and this and this is going on. What is the best plan for them? And then they take what the doctor says, because they're registered nurses or a social worker, whichever one is appropriate. They take all that medical terminology that the doctor says, they digest it and bring it back to the client and the family. So a lot of folks use the service if they live out of town and they're not able to make all these important doctor's appointments and they can't trust, hey, mom's going to tell me exactly what the doctor said, or mom maybe can't remember exactly what the doctor said. So I think it's important knowing that we have that service, that care management comes in and really can be that family liaison. And they do many things. So we have a nurse, a registered nurse, or a social worker. So the social worker is able to do some of the paperwork piece. They have helped folks move. Maybe it's for a long-term care facility. Maybe it's assisted living. Maybe it's just downsizing their home to a smaller place. Our care management, people ask what they do, and I'm like, pretty much everything. They can handle the med management. That's a big thing with folks. That's like the number one reason that people get readmitted to the hospital is because they don't have their medications managed. Our care managers can come in and set up a medical med carousel that will automatically dispense the medications needed for each hour. So that way you don't have to worry about remembering. It'll ding, it has an alarm, and it only dispenses exactly the proper amount of meds. And that's helped tremendously with folks not, going back to the hospital because they have that medication set at that same time.
Right.
And that's for folks that really doesn't need anyone else in the home, but they just need someone to come in, maybe take them to a doctor's appointment here and there. But they work with folks all the way from independent level all the way to the end of life. So I think a care management is really important, especially for those ones that have those loved ones out of town.
The medication management is one of the biggest things I know my daughter does with my mom, is just go every single week and set her up for the week. And if there's a day that she can't get there, she's always really nervous because bless her heart, my mom, she's like, oh, I can do it.
It's a lot.
Then, my daughter will go in after her and like, it's all messed up. And she's like, it's a good thing I came and checked because you shouldn't have been taking some of the things you put in there. And that's a scary thought for me that she's not doing it correctly. And so I think that's, medication management, I think is a big
It's
piece.
huge. It's huge. And, our meds are great if they work, but if we're not taking them at the proper times or with food, and that's when a lot of times people won't take their medicines. They're like, oh no, that makes my stomach hurt, so I'm not taking it.
Yep.
Well, it's because you were supposed to take it with breakfast and you're supposed to take it with food. So let's set it in your Medicare cell to take it when you eat your breakfast. What time do you eat your breakfast? We can really customize the folks' care. In the facilities, unfortunately, it's, you get your medicine when, the nurse comes around and gives it to you. In your home, you can really, customize your care plan to make it work for you and your family.
So for someone who's looking into any of these services and they want to reach out, what is the best way for them to kind of get set up with Generation Solutions? The key, I'm trying to make sure I say it correctly. And get started, or just start that intake process to be to potentially have a caregiver come into their home.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to call. You can call me directly. You can call our office. I think it's easier if you call me directly because that way you don't get transferred. And you can always call me on my cell phone, and I'll be happy to get you lined up to figure out which service would be the best fit for you and your family.
Okay. What is the website and what number should they reach?
You can call me directly at 434-610-9788, and that is my work cell. So feel free to call or you can text however you feel the best comfortable. And then our website is www.generationsolutions.net.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on with me and talking about it. I think
you.
it's a lot of really great information. And I think there are a lot of people that are out there and they want to make that jump to home health or, having the companion services, but they're not really sure how to go about doing it. They're not really sure about the cost. I think there's just a lot of what ifs.
Unknowns.
And I think that they really should reach out and contact, providers like yourself and say, hey, let me get more information.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to just maintain independence as long as you can and to keep you in your home, wherever that is. We have a lot of folks that live with their family and they're happy there. Okay, well, we want to make sure you can stay there so we can set it up. And we also work with the medical equipment companies to make sure you have all the proper equipment you need as well, because that's a big thing too that people don't think about. They're like, oh, this walker, I don't like it. It's not because it's not tall enough for that person or it's too short for that person. You have to, there's a lot to take in when you're talking about in-home care and keeping someone at home. But I just encourage everyone to talk to their families and set up a plan. Talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, ask them, hey, if something ever happens, what do you want? Do you want to stay in your home? Do you want to move? What would you want?
That is, yes, I'm glad you brought that up. So important to talk to them ahead of time because a lot of times if you wait and it's in the moment, that's when they're kind of, maybe it's to the point where they can't even answer you if they're going through like dementia or something like that. And then you're just making assumptions and trying to do it on your own. So it is good to have a plan going into things like, how do you want this done? And I think that's a great option.
Yes, absolutely. Planning ahead will really relieve your nerves and just knowing the answers. And anytime people want to talk, I'm happy to meet in person. virtual, whichever you and your family feel comfortable with. It's no obligations. We have no contracts, nothing like that. So if you just need some information, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you.
And again, make sure that if you need anything, you can reach out to Brandy and get more information. If you're listening live, or even if you're subscribed to Talk Local to Me and, hear this show later on, definitely get a hold of her. And speaking of subscribing, I'm just going to throw that in there, grovestreet.fm. Get on there, subscribe to Talk Local to Me. You need to hear us every week. We're here talking to businesses about just, and even if you're not in the area, maybe you're not in the service area that Generation Solutions provides, but you're listening, find someone who is in your area. Brandy just gave a lot of great information that can help you. So it's not always about, the businesses I talk to. Yes, it's to provide promotion for them to those that they do reach, but even for those that listen, it's to help you hear. I know there's probably someone in your area that offers these same services and same types of care. So Brandy has just really given us some great tips as well. So that's kind of the reason for these businesses coming on too, is just giving you that great information. So we are going to chat a little bit now. We're gonna scourge back over into summer mode. You like that scourge? I need a little I know, right? See,
She needs sound effects.
I do need sound effects. I need one of those little things over here with buttons that I can just be like scourge, or like, there we go, like something like that. Just
I don't think he would give you that.
Make a little button.
Yeah, that's too much power.
Okay,
Yeah.
So let me just say, if I did have that option, I'd be over here playing with it I'd be like, beep, beep,
That's
beep.
exactly why you don't have it.
I'd be over here just making noises. Like when my guests are talking. Yeah. My guests are talking, I'd be like, beep. Yeah, that's great. So, hey, Woody, let's chat. I want to chat a little bit before we start talking about summer stuff. I see there's a lot of things happening here at the studio. Now, I know we've talked about the upgrades. Is there anything new in here since last week? You seem to update something every week.
The rug.
I love the rug. I was going to say that
I like it.
when I first came in. I was like, I love this rug.
That is a yard sale find for my lovely wife.
Oh,
Whenever she is out, she knows, so this is a studio / man cave in a way. But when she's out, she's always got this specific eye for the stuff here. And like the couch that there was a yard sale find, that's a yard sale find. So I
need to hang out with her.
Now you're sending me down a different rabbit hole. Yard sales.
Oh God.
So we had a yard sale last weekend.
Yeah.
You did too, right?
Yeah, we did too.
I couldn't come to your yard sale.
Multi-family yard
yes,
sale.
Same.
Yep.
But
Is this in Bedford?
No, we had ours in Lynchburg.
Oh.
And my parents were determined they needed to have a yard sale because my dad is a yard sale. He goes every week. And then there's just clutter. It's all over my house. Their house is just bunches of stuff. And then, we're heading on vacation in a couple weeks. So you're like, we'll make a little extra money to take on vacation. So they had planned to do the yard sale back at the beginning of May. And then it rained. And so they couldn't do it that weekend. And then we're going to do it the next weekend. And then it rained again. So they couldn't do it that weekend. And then they were going to do it the weekend I was in Virginia Beach. And so then they couldn't because I wasn't going to be there to help them. And so you have to think about this. My mother has multiple sclerosis, so she can't really carry things upstairs. And she tries because she's hard-headed, but she's not supposed to. And then my dad, he has undiagnosed COPD. He claims he has COPD. So if he picks up a box, he can't breathe for about an hour. And so they we need you to come over and help. So you have to be there. So anyway, they were going to do it this coming weekend in June, the first weekend in June. And then all of a sudden, last Wednesday, they're like, you know what? We're just going to do it this Memorial Day weekend, out of the blue.
Oh my goodness.
So we have to go over there on Friday, me and my daughter, and we spent the night so that we could be there to set stuff out. So my dad's like, we have to get out really early. The sale starts at 8. They had so much,
which means people will start
coming at 7.
Exactly.
Right.
It is. I experienced that a couple years ago. That's why I've been haunted by yard sales ever since then.
They had so much stuff, and my mother was still up until 12:30 at night, or I guess in the morning, pricing things. I'm like, Mom, just yell stuff out. Who cares? Just yell it out price. But no, she's pricing. So she finally goes to sleep at 12:30, which means my daughter and I could finally go to sleep at about 1. And then at 3:00, I'm not kidding you, 2 hours of sleep. Here comes my dad. All right, girls, time to get up. We got to start putting stuff out. It's 3:00. We got to get everything out before people start coming.
3 in the morning?
Yes,
Oh,
Brandy.
My God.
I was up at 3 in the morning
You're a good daughter.
And let me also say, it had, Friday it had rained, thunderstorms, tornadoes, everything. So the ground is still like soaking wet out there, trucking through mud, trying to put out. It was like, I can't even describe it. I could barely even move by the end of the day. I was so tired.
Did y'all make any money?
No, we did. Actually,
Good.
I was shocked that we had quite a few people. I guess I was worried about being Memorial Day. And then it was also graduation weekend for Bedford County.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even go home and take a nap. No, because my nephew graduated from Stanton River. So his graduation was at 5. So when we got done at like 1 something and we finished like taking everything back down to the basement.
No, see, the rule is if you don't sell it, you donate it.
That's
We
right.
did.
Straight
So
to Goodwill.
We
Right.
did take most of it to Goodwill, but
Good.
there were a few things my parents wanted to keep. And so then I had to drive all the way back to Bedford, get ready to come all the way back to Lynchburg to the Vine Center for graduation. I was so tired. Like, I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep during graduation. I'm sitting there like, oh, tell me
Sounds like Heather needs a companion.
and his last name begins with an R. So I'm sitting there like,
Oh,
great,
no.
wake me up when they call his name, But yard sales. My dad calls me the next day. So you ready for another yard? I was like, don't talk to me. Like, I'm not
No.
doing another yard sale again for a while. Like, not doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work. But that's so anyway, sorry. We just completely went down a total nother. Anyway, if you're out there and you hate yard sales, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I love them.
But I like going to them.
Yeah, that's different
Yeah.
than hosting them.
Oh God, yeah.
Hosting them, nope. But what I wanted to ask is, I've seen a lot of work going on around here,
Yeah.
and I know y'all are starting the Grove.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
What's
yep.
going on new in there? I haven't looked through the
Oh, you have. All right, so
through the
Door number
sliding
1.
door. Yeah, behind door number 1 that does not
Yes.
say restroom.
There's so many doors in here. No, we've got the walls up. We've got the door. It's another door. We had another door in there. We've got the ceiling fabric up, lights installed, and we are now waiting for one more ceiling thing to be done, and then tables and chairs and some decor, and then we will be all set.
So when are y'all hoping to open? Like,
Oh,
don't
I-
give me an exact date
I
because
was hoping this week, but
really?
well, yeah, but it's just been busy for us for videos and stuff like that. So ideally, I'm thinking a week or 2 into June.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're gonna have like a soft little launch,
like a
with-
ribbon cutting
like a ribbon cutting.
by the
Yes,
Central Virginia
ribbon,
Business
ribbon
College.
cutting, and maybe there's a couple of people that I say people, but a couple of planners that have reached out to host like a bridal party,
Oh, fun.
for a soft launch. So we might do that and then take some pictures and then officially do that. But yeah, it should be, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks, hopefully.
Okay, so let me just
Ish.
remind you, my vacation.
It might be, I tell you what, it might be after you, I tell you what.
I'll be back on the 18th.
Because my birthday is that week. So
That's right.
It may be after that week. I may be.
I mean, that's just what's best for me. I mean, you tell me what's best for you and Laura.
yeah. I might wait. I might wait until after my birthday, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you don't want something like that to conflict with your birthday.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
that's
no.
important stuff right there.
Exactly.
I hate when. So my birthday is December 20th, and you can
Oh,
Oh,
imagine.
yeah, it gets lost.
Yeah.
Imagine it's like
Poor thing.
here I am. Well, that's not as bad. My youngest daughter, her birthday is New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
it's either goes 2 ways with her. Either she's partying it up with the biggest birthday party ever when she gets older, because it's like
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad always is like, well, I'll give you your birthday and your Christmas gift together. And I'm like, so in June, I'm going to give you your birthday and your Christmas gift together. How
You
does
see,
that feel?
Yeah.
Mine's great. Mine's June 17th. And it has always been the most perfect birthday because, like, I was out of school when my birthday hit.
Weather.
Mhm.
Weather was perfect. You're either at the beach or you're, on vacation, and so I can't complain about my birthday.
Yeah,
at
my
all.
son is June 20th. So he's right there after you. But the easy part about that is you're talking about like it's right after school ends, but
Yep.
like you still have time to give out those birthday invitations.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you're dead summer, like if you're like July or August,
Oh, yeah.
it's hard to get a hold of any
Oh, they don't.
classmates.
Yeah, you
You
don't
have any
exist.
friends.
You don't exist till August. or
Yeah.
something.
You don't. It's sad.
June 17th. Oh,
So anyway, so we're gonna open up soon, and I'm excited for you guys.
thank you. I am too. It'll be a cool little space. So and you'll see some classes advertised. It's not like we're gonna have like a class every Tuesday or every whatever. You're gonna see like specific classes here and there advertised, and we'll give you plenty of time to sign up. And so it won't be like a recurring especially at first. Recurring thing, it'll be like, oh, this would be cool, like an event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw where Laura signed up for our Christmas in July.
Yes,
So I'm excited to have her
we
at
were on the
that.
road, and she got your email. She's like, "Oh, I got to sign up. I'll do it right now." And so that was good timing on your part.
Yeah, we've actually had we've got quite a bit of people signed up, so that's going to be a fun event. We're doing Christmas in July on July 23rd, and it's like a vendor fair for people to kind of shop early for Christmas. And we are going to be kicking off our Christmas parade applications that day, and we will have our themes kind of announced for that. So it's going to be one big barrel of Christmas fun in the middle of July.
So for the Christmas parade, are you looking for a Jeep with a Bigfoot in it? Could that be a possibility this year?
I am.
Okay. Right,
I was hoping if I had anything in the parade this year, it was going to be a Jeep with a Bigfoot on it.
We'll talk. Well, I know a guy, so.
I was like, if I have nothing else in this parade to make my, now, are we talking Bedford and Lynchburg both?
Yeah, well, probably Bedford. I'm good friends with Bigfoot, so I can hook you up.
Are you?
Yeah, we know each other. We go way back.
Good to know. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And we haven't solidified our theme for Bedford yet. So I'll message our
Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
That's what I'll message our sponsor and be like, hey, what you got this year? Where can we coordinate Bigfoot into that? Well, for those of you guys, and I know we're kind of getting short on our time, but I did want to kind of bring up, I'm one of those people that encourages young entrepreneurs. I encourage you, if your child wants to try and make money, start their own little business, to let them. And there's a lot of things that they can do during the summer. Of course, supervised. I always say, make sure you're supervising your kids and not just, leaving them out on the side of the road doing things by themselves or, let's be honest. You see horror stories of stuff happening.
I've done enough true crime podcasts to tell you not to do that.
Right. Or if they do something that could potentially get you as their parent in trouble because they're doing something they shouldn't be, or they damage somebody's property, and then that comes back on you. So please make sure it's supervised. But I did want to just throw up a couple of things. And heck, if you're listening and you're not a kid and you just need extra money and you want to do this yourself, more power to you, go for it. But of course, the ever popular lemonade stands. Pop-up lemonade stands, ice cream stands. I have a picture from years ago where my oldest daughter and son and their two cousins did a lemonade stand on the corner of Longwood and Oak. And they had some police officers stop by and purchase some lemonade from them, and someone from the Bedford Bulletin, somebody took a picture and it showed up in the Bedford Bulletin the very next day of the kids giving the cops their lemonade and helping them beat the heat because they were like the bicycle cops. And so anyway, and they make a couple bucks. Sometimes lemonade stands you can make some money off of those. But I will say, check in your area and make sure you don't have to have like a license,
a permit.
You do. There are some places you have to have a permit. Like I don't want them to come
business license, a tax permit.
Don't want them to come like knock your lemonade stand down.
You have to have food insurance.
They have to sign a waiver before they drink your lemonade.
Yes,
this poor world.
They have to bring their own cup. You just can't furnish cups.
Yeah.
Car washes. Start a car wash in your area.
I did that as a kid.
Yeah. See if you can walk around and just wash your neighbors' cars, and lawn mowing, of course. Of course, we have large businesses that do lawn care, but if you're just looking to have your lawn mown once a week and you want someone in your neighborhood to come out and do that for you, definitely talk to somebody about that. Now, I say childcare. Now, this is not for your younger, but if you have an older child that's in their teenage years that is looking for, I can tell you, it is difficult when you're a parent trying to work and trying to figure out what to do with your kids during those months that school is out. It's difficult. So if you have someone that is trustworthy that can provide that childcare, whether it's in their home or in your home, and will provide like fun things for your kids to do, reach out, because there are parents that don't want to have to pay large daycare prices, or good gosh, you have to take a loan out to send your kid to summer camp nowadays. Apparently, right? It's crazy. I can't wait for cop camp. Like, my daughter is just so excited for cop camp here in Bedford.
Is that going to be up at the Outpost again?
It is.
Oh,
I think it's the first week. I think it's the week right after the 4th of July.
Yeah, that was awesome.
my kids love Cop Camp, and the fact that Bedford they do this and it's free to parents to send their kids for a week to this camp, and they do so much with them. It's super awesome. So my daughter's really excited about that one. So pool maintenance. Now this is I'm not really sure how much your kids can do with pool maintenance. Get them out there with a skimmer, I guess. I do not mix chemicals.
Son?
Please rely on your local pool care professionals for that. If you need someone, we have 2 members that do that, R&R Pool Care and Pool Fooling. I highly recommend either
They'll come
of those.
clean up the mess the kids did.
Please
That's
don't have your
right.
kids just dumping chlorine in your pool.
And make it so they create a
Here's a bucket
volcano.
of bleach.
Give them a skimmer, a bucket of bleach. But yeah, like doing going out. It says tourist photography. Okay, tourist.
Where did you get this
Get
list
off
I'm reading
Google.
from this list.
Where is this list
She's
from?
on Google.
It's
Tourists for Well, I don't know kids with their phones now. They probably,
Yeah, that's
they,
true.
They can't take better pictures.
My niece
though.
has the newest
tourist
iPhone.
photographer.
And she's 10.
It takes gorgeous photos.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Her phone, she tells me, she's like, oh, let's take a selfie. Oh, wait, we can't use your phone. We have to use mine because it's the newest.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me,
What
10-year-old.
version do you have? It's a 12. No thanks.
exactly.
When she first got it, she was like, Brandy, I think your iPhone is like an iPhone like 7. And I was like, it works as long as I don't care, as long as it works. She's like, well, I have the newest one. I'm like, that's because you're spoiled.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of
You're
these crack
grounded.
me
Get
up.
out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. This list cracks me up.
Clean my pool.
Yeah. What's next? Heather?
So pick up a. Now this is kind of interesting. Pick up a
Cut
pic.
trees down. Not
Pick up a picnic. So order a picnic to go. So you
DoorDash?
can actually have like a picnic company where you can let people order a picnic and you
Ooh.
stuff picnic baskets for them and let them pick it up so that they
so
can
it's
get
like DoorDash for picnics.
Yeah.
It does, but I mean, I'd worry about the food again. This is more for teens. I don't want my like 7-year-old packing picnic baskets.
It would be the best lunch you ever had.
Yeah.
It'd be like Snickers
Yeah.
and
Boat
Chips.
cleaning, RV detailing, house painting.
Good Lord. There are child labor laws.
Get
We
your
have
kid out
to-
there, house bait.
We have to keep in mind.
Yes, summer.
I know you're only 8, but could you touch up the gutter up there?
yeah. Can you get on the roof?
Summer job coordinator. Like, what is it?
Good
Similar to a
Lord.
recruiting agency. You can find jobs
Wow.
for your friends. Like, hey, buddy, we were just on the playground last week. What you been doing?
If any child finds me good quality caregivers, I will personally pay them for recruiting them. So just keep that in mind out there, kids. If you can recruit for me, adults, I will pay you personally.
I don't. I don't even know how I feel about this
please,
one.
Just say it. Oh, it's too
Yeah,
This
late
is
have
the
now.
to
best.
now.
This is the best. Emergency dress clothes delivery.
Now, you know that is not a bad. That's actually
So-
a pretty great idea.
Yeah, it says
As long as
summers.
they can drive.
Yeah, summers can be hot. Public transit, meeting rooms, offices, and elevators are just some of the spaces that get uncomfortable in the summer. So, for business women and men, maintaining a dress code of business casual or formal can be stressful. Simply setting up a website with various branded dress clothes, people could quickly order a shirt from your site to replace their sweaty one while at work.
Good God! I
So
mean,
if-
for a teenager,
So, yeah, I don't know.
man.
You would need to deliver it as well. And this would solve a real pain point. So if you're just sitting here, Woody, and you have
On your
sweated through
elevator.
half
On
your
my
day,
elevator. You're right. There have been times where I've been sitting right here thinking, I need another pair of socks. That's what I'll be sure to call the 8-year-old.
I wonder how much that
Scoot
would
on
cost
over.
you.
yeah. Now here's this
Well,
isn't a
that
bad
was
idea, and
gas.
I wouldn't say this for like kids, but if you're out there and even this would be a good idea for some of our farmers markets, is doing a night market
Yeah.
where it's not
Oh,
so
yeah.
hot.
I
Yeah.
like that.
So it says
That's
night
true.
markets can be huge in the summertime because you don't have to worry about weather related risks as much. It's not as hot. You can organize entertainment and games to go along with the food and the drinks and the sales. Like that's kind of cool. I
Yeah,
like
they
that.
could have
That's a great
happy
idea.
hour for farmers market. So you could come and have a
Yeah.
cocktail and then you would buy more because that's what always happens after you
Mhm.
start drinking.
Yeah, I don't know where this guy got some of his stuff, but I mean, it's whatever. Starting a summer camp. I think some of these are not just related to kids. I think this is just if you're out there, like an ice cream truck.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, well,
let's talk about ice cream trucks for a minute. If you're going to start an ice cream truck, can you please not be creepy?
listen.
That's what I need.
Don't
I
play
know.
Christmas music and have a rusted van.
I just need you to have a
Exactly.
regular back in the day, I had an ice cream truck that came, and it was a nice looking truck. It had all the different, ice creams on the side, and it played like just normal like music.
Normal.
And you knew it was coming, and it didn't like sketch you out. But like some are a little nut. Like I'm like,
I just don't know how they're continuously running. I mean, they sound like they're going to fall apart at any moment.
Pop-up group fitness classes. Okay.
Man,
First of all, I'm not even going to not pop-up food group fitness classes. I'm gonna tell you that. So I don't know, pop-up ones that doesn't help either. Or actually though, if you had a pop-up group fitness class, you could partner with the dress delivery system. So like if it's like,
There you go.
I need something to wear, you could call said,
10-year-old Joe.
He'll come out with your warm-ups, get you ready to go for your pop-up class. See, look at us. We're helping. We're helping out. House cleaning. Yeah. Okay. Pet sitting.
That's
that one I will agree. Pet sitting and dog walking.
That's a big one.
Definitely people can do that. Taking your pet out, and especially if you work long hours and you just want them to kind of to go out and have some companionship. Exterior and interior home. Dang, I can't even talk. Painting. We already talked about music lessons. Okay. I mean, I guess it depends. I don't need like my 6-year-old show me how to use a recorder, but if you know what you're doing. Anyway, so there are water taxi services. Now wait. Oh no, you know what I really want in this area, and I know they have them. My cousin lives down in Carolina Beach. And they have those like pedicab services,
Okay.
They have one that is like a beer pedicab, like you drive it and you drink while and I'm not
That's
the
perfect for
driver
a
doesn't
10-year-old.
drink, okay?
Oh,
The driver of the pedicab doesn't drink, but like you can actually rent it, and
Yeah.
like they do this down in I don't know, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that would be neat.
There's like a good humor ice cream truck that I've seen around. And it's like the old school ice cream truck, and he dresses like the like the old school type with the white, and it is. I love that idea. So if anybody wants to do it around Bedford, I do think that is a great idea. A quality ice cream truck,
Yeah.
a quality.
Oh,
and not a van,
Not creepy.
not a creepy.
Moving and junk removal. Oh, I got another one. Let's talk about this. Somebody that comes out and puts out your yard sale stuff for you so you don't have to. There we go. That's it. That's what we need. A yard sale person that comes and sets your stuff up at 3 a.m. so that you can still sleep while your parents are crazy wanting to have a yard sale and didn't let you go to bed till 1.
That is a great idea.
So I hope that you guys have gleaned some just fabulous thought processes of what you could do this summer. And then, of course, again, thank you to Brandy for coming in today and talking to us about all that Generation Solutions and the Key have to offer our community. And until next Wednesday, and I know you will be waiting for it, I'll see you again. Talk local to me.